All right, a lot of people have been talking about the fact that Disney has been preparing ESPN for sale. I've always been skeptical of that because it doesn't make a lot of sense to make it the third leg of a table just a quarter ago and then turn around and sell it off. But a lot of things have been happening over at ESPN that make me question my position. I think we got to talk about it. Here we go. So let's talk about recent announcements over the course of the last month. You see, Disney went out and they hired themselves an entertainer named Pat McAfee. In partnering with him and his team, ESPN kind of brought that sports commentary nameplate into their network. That ignited a huge wave of controversy. Viewers quickly drew connections between the deal that McAfee just struck, which was pretty enormous, to a bunch of recent layoffs where ESPN seems to be cleaning house. That led to a lot of criticism aimed directly at McAfee that he may or may not have deserved. What's even more interesting is McAfee went on the defensive to actually talk about this particular issue, addressing it on Twitter. He wanted to provide some clarity and, well, address the situation outright. He expressed gratitude, of course, for the opportunity to lead a talented group, his group, at ESPN. He talked about the backlash, of course, and the scrutiny that he'd been receiving on the internet since he signed the deal, and then he took a moment to reflect on the journey of his show overall. He even took the time to talk about the mass exits, which were layoffs and firings, but he didn't want to call them that. And he conveyed the idea that he wanted to prevent similar situations from occurring in the future. An interesting promise, considering he has no power to do anything about it. You're likely going to see shakeups at the other networks, maybe just to hire some of those people. And you're talking about some staples, actually, like David Pollock and Jalen Rose and Jordan Cornette from the College Game Day program, who was, well, pretty popular, I would say. You also lose some analysts and some reporters like Susie Kolber, Max Kellerman, and Jeff Van Gundy. Van Gundy, who was very high-paid analyst, Kolber, who is famed for her sideline and anchoring duties over on ESPN for football, and of course, Max Kellerman, who, well, let's just say I'm not a huge fan of. But McAfee kept himself in that part of the story, as well as he commented about his immense respect for everybody who was departing. Of course, the controversy that's surrounding ESPN's personality changes highlights the challenges faced by the network in navigating, well, a whole lot of new deals that they're going to have to write with all of these sports entities, because they're going to have to write bigger checks, even as the audience on ESPN continues to dwindle. At the time of this recording, there are about 20 personalities that were announced in the last few days that were leaving the network. But I doubt that the bleeding stops there.
That's what she said.
ESPN has become a rather heavy anchor around the Disney company that, well, one of its activist investors truly wanted Disney to shed. As I mentioned before, the initial hiring of McAfee drew a lot of criticism. He also got criticism from his audience for selling out.
Oh God, not the finger quoting thing.
And they anticipated that there would be fundamental changes in the structure of his show, which would also include his need to self-censor his language, which, let me tell you, was a little bit more loose when he was independent. For the most part, you have to, well, give credit to the fact that McAfee's tried to remain positive and not hit back too hard at people who were coming at him, well, very aggressively. And of course, this controversy is not going away anytime soon. As I mentioned before, I suspect that there are more exits on the horizon. I also anticipate that there is a decent chance that ESPN could be set up for sale. And then to top off this particular Sunday, according to reports, ESPN could go full streaming at somewhere between $23 and $33 a month.
So it's not free?
Which is a hefty inscription price indeed. And I'm not sure a lot of sports fans are going to reach into their pocket to be lectured to by a lot of sports personalities that didn't get the axe this last weekend. But in an effort to keep this video short, I'm just going to ask you, what do you think's going on at ESPN? Do you think Pat McAfee is partially to blame for a few of these personalities getting shunted out the door because of his enormous salary? Do you think that, ESPN has a chance to turn itself back into the worldwide leader in sports and actually continue to generate profits? Or do you believe a prevalent rumor that ESPN is being prepared to be sold? I'm interested in your comments, so please leave them down below and we'll certainly talk about it. And if you're here for the very first time, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit the bell icon and of course, like and share this video because it does help drive the channel and I'm on my way to 10K thanks to all of you. And I appreciate all of your support. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.